The warp trembles as the four champions of chaos stride into the arena and face off against one another. They've each taken their skills into the Genestealer Gauntlet and wiped out scores of monsters between them. Today though, they turn their weapons on each other, each of their gods watching with hungry anticipation, and we find out who the best Chaos Champion is. Ahriman was the weakest in terms of the Genestealer Gauntlet, but you can't count him out just yet. He deals a lot of damage and he can probably get away with hiding out for the first portion of the battle. Khan the Betrayer proved his vicious intent in the Genestealer Gauntlet and looks to carry on here today. His ability to return to the battlefield will be handy, and if he rolls well for Blessings of Khorne, then that could be dangerous. Lucius the Eternal is the champion of the Genestealer Gauntlet, and for very good reason. He is incredibly hard to kill, and he can deal out massive damage with his Blade of Leia. You'd have to think he's the odds-on favourite today. And finally, we have Typhus. Can he translate a good Genestealer Gauntlet showing into a good battle here? Very tough, and his Nurgle abilities make him hard to hit as well. Can Typhus upset the odds today? Ahriman the Exile, Khan the Betrayer, Lucius the Eternal, Typhus the Traveller. 4 Chaos Champions, 1 arena. Only one can walk out alive. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. The Discord and Patreon are in the video description as usual. Let's begin. Lucius the Eternal wins priority as a ripple of power washes over Khan, and his muscles bulge and his eyes burn bright as he earns the blessings of Khorne. Lucius smiles with his horrible snake-like mouth. At last, he thinks, a worthy challenger. Lucius lunges first, a blur of perfect form and exquisite cruelty. 6 hits from Lucius and 6 wounds. His ability to reroll working very well, and Khan is only able to save 3 of these wounds. Khan's armor explodes in a red mist as Lucius carves flawless arcs into it, and the Betrayer falls down dead. An early exit for the Khorne champion. Lucius laughs wildly at the defeat of his opponent as the blood on the ground begins to boil. The blood begins to re-enter its host, and Khan rises again, roaring and reborn through the berserker fury. Khorne dragging his champion back to the fight by the throat. Surprisingly, Lucius's laughter only grows louder as he gets another chance to fight. Fury incarnate. Across from the danger, Typhus watches the duel with the patience of pestilence. However, he sees now that Slaanesh's toy is distracted. Typhus raises his hand and unleashes a cloud of corpse flies outwards, the Eater Plague. And Lucius staggers forward as 3 mortal wounds tear into his back and rupture his pristine armor. Before Lucius can recover, he's smashed in the back by something akin to a freight train as Typhus charges in, lacrimae swinging in a heavy, foul arc. 4 hits from Typhus and 3 wounds inflicted. All of these saves are needed, otherwise Lucius is dead. Lucius should die, but Lucius does not die. He carries on his incredible saving streak, and every strike is turned aside with impossible grace. Typhus cannot believe his attack failed, but Lucius wastes no time with thoughts and strikes back hard. 5 hits from Lucius and 5 wounds caused. Each wound is a surgical violation of Typhus's armor. Nurgle's gift cannot dampen the accuracy of the master swordsman, and Typhus only manages to make 1 save. Typhus collapses, his armor splits apart like rotting fruit to reveal the maggots inside. Typhus is the first Chaos Champion to fall, and you have to think that Papa Nurgle won't be happy at this turn of events. Lucius barely has time to celebrate his victory before he is smashed in the side of the head by a supercharged plasma round. It doesn't deal any damage to Lucius, but it was only meant to serve as a warning shot for what was to follow, which is Khan bellowing going and charging, turning Gorechild into a hurricane of red and gold. The blessings of Khorne grant him 9 hits on Lucius, and 6 of these turn into wounds, with 2 of them being devastating. Lucius makes parry after parry, deflecting blows with a smile on his face, but even perfection has its limits. 4 invulnerable saves are made. He needs both of these feel no pains in order to survive, and neither of these are made. The 2 wounds carve through armor, flesh, and bone. Lucius falls, his armor shrieking as it tries to claim Khan's soul. It's doubtful that Khorne will let his champion become Lucius, so Khorne and Slaanesh will have to have this out and come up with a solution. In a rather stunning turn of events that Siege will enjoy, Ahriman is the only champion who's both alive and on full wounds, and now it's his turn. He stands alone on the sidelines, staff planted, watching the utter carnage unfold. When the dust settles, Ahriman can see that Khan is the sole survivor of the melee and attempts a doom bolt to finish him off. But the warp doesn't grant him enough power, and so he settles for casting Destiny's Ruin, weaving fate around himself and his attacks. Khan notices the sorcerer wielding magic and begins to charge, frothing and unstoppable. Ahriman raises his hand and unleashes a transmogrifying blast at the oncoming beast. It turns out Destiny's Ruin was very useful as he rolls triple ones. He tries again though and secures 2 hits and 1 wound. Khan shrugs this off and continues his charge, and Ahriman exhales, realizing he must face off against Khan in one-on-one combat. Ahriman charges in, and there is a clash of weaponry as Khan comes off worse in the exchange, leaving him open to a counter. Ahriman's black staff becomes a blur of arcane geometry as it strikes at the heart of the betrayer. 3 hits from Ahriman, 2 wounds inflicted, and no saves made. Khan staggers back, blood spraying out of him in a crimson arc. He roars and starts swinging Gorechild wildly as Ahriman freezes for a moment, awaiting the hits coming his way. But instead, Khan collapses. Ahriman stands over him with his chest heaving, disbelief flickering behind his helm. The most hated and the most underestimated of the 4 stands alone in the now empty arena. Not through divine favour and certainly not through overwhelming might, but because the other 3 tore each other apart in a storm of rage, rot and excess. Ahriman wins the Chaos Champion Battle Royal. If you enjoyed this video, then please like and subscribe, and check out the Patreon and Discord in the video description. We'll see you next time.